Hello and welcome to episode 96 of Out of State DMing. I am your host, lluksblackheart. At the moment, it looks like my co host won't be able to join us. They had a few other things they had to take care of today. So it's just moi. Dun dun dun! Yes, Goose, you are here too. Up here. Up here. And of course, the dog. No, no. He waits till now to try to get attention from me. You can. No. I love you too, but you need to lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Stay. Get a dog, they said. So let's try to, even with the dog interruption. Does he waits till I start? You need to lay down. Stay. 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 So let's make an attempt to cover some of the spells. And we're going to start off with a decently used spell until people get mad that it doesn't do what they want. Enlarged Person. Enlarged Person is a transmutation, first level wizard, sorcerer, strength domain. Components are verbal semantic material. Casting time 1 round. Range close. Target 1 humanoid creature. Duration 1 minute a level. Goose, please, 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 stay. Saving throw, fortitude negate, spell resistance, yes. You're probably wondering, why do a bunch of spells that are buff spells, for some stupid reason, have saving throws and don't auto bypass spell resistance? Hi, Pixie. I can't correctly answer that other than unless you know someone's casting a spell on you. Goose, please stop. 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 If I say if someone is casting a spell on you, you don't know they're the ones hitting you with the spell. You can resist the spell if you want to. But I don't know anyone that's like actually perfectly in that position. But the description, and this is where the description technically gets people mad. Goose, please stop. Goose, please stop. I love you, but please lay down. Stay. Stay. My dog is casting Interrupt This, and it's working. Don't cough on me. I love you, but stop. This spell causes instant growth of a humanoid creature, doubling its height and multiplying its weight by 8. So you get really, really big. This increase changes the creature's size category to the next largest one. The target gains a +2 size bonus to strength, -2 size penalty to dexterity to a minimum of 1, -1 on attack rolls and AC due to its size. A humanoid creature whose size increases to large has a space of 10 feet and a natural reach of 10 feet. This spell does not change your target's speed. If insufficient room is available for the desired growth, the creature attains the maximum possible size and may make a strength check using its increased strength to burst an enclosure in the process. If it fails, it is constrained without harm by the material enclosing it. The spell cannot be used to crush a creature by increasing its size. All equipment worn or carried by a creature is similarly enlarged by the spell. Melee and projectiles increase, affected by the size, deal more damage. Other magical properties are not affected by the spell. Any enlarged item that leaves an enlarged Creatures possessing, including projectiles or thrown weapons, instantly returns to its normal size. This means that thrown weapons deal their normal damage, and projectiles deal damage based on the size of the weapon that fired them. Magical properties of enlarged items are not increased by the size. An enlarged +1 sword is still only a +1 enhancement bonus. A staff-sized wand is still only capable of its normal functions. A giant-sized potion merely requires a greater fluid intake to make its magical effects operate, and so on. Multiple magical effects that increase size do not stack, which means, among other things, you can't use a second casting of the spell to further increase the size of a creature that is still under the effects of the first casting. Enlarged person counters and dispels reduce person. Enlarged person can be made permanent with a permanency spell. Material component. A pinch of powdered iron. Now, what this permanent spell does, like, in essence, if you're paying attention, it makes you big. Like, really big. If you're 5'11", well, now you're 11 foot 10. If you weighed 150 pounds, well, you increase that by a factor of 8, so you weigh a lot. The things that it doesn't actually do that a lot of people get pissed off is they hear, oh, your items are also affected by it because they now are effectively bigger than normal. They go, well, I was holding on to a bunch of big rocks when it hit me. Those are technically items. They're technically now larger rocks, so I throw them at people. It's like, well, it leaves your possession. I mean, it leaves you, just like the spell states, it goes back to normal size because thrown objects do normal damage according to its original size because it's no longer bigger. A ranged weapon, such as a bow or a crossbow, it doesn't lose its effective increased damage because the weapon is hurling the object at a faster rate than normal. So even though the mass of the object goes back to normal, it doesn't actually reduce its damage because the weapon you're holding shoots it. So a lot of people get upset that this big rock they had when when the spell was cast on them isn't doing massive amounts of damage. Another thing is it states that you take you get a +2 to your strength and a -2 to your dex. A lot of people have tried to use the size difference if you're increasing a monster size to get a higher strength, higher con, like a bunch of other things, and they get mad that you only get a +2 strength and a -2 to dexterity. Because players don't want minuses of any caliber. And having your dex get hit really pisses people off because, well, depending on what armor you're wearing, your AC just went down. Your reflex saving throws went down. If you enlarge a rogue, hi Nova, if you enlarge a rogue, well, the rogue's not going to be able to do very much because he takes a bunch of penalties. Dex gets hit, and he's a large-sized creature, so therefore he gets a -4 to his AC. Not AC, but his ability to hide. So you don't use it for stealthing. The only up that this spell has, in my personal opinion, is because your melee weapons increase in damage because they get bigger. So, for instance, your die 8 head down, your die 8 longsword gets a die increase, and by the book, it goes from a die 8 to die 6. So right there, you're doing a lot more damage. If you're using an already weapon that has multiple dice, like a falchion has a 2 die 4, well, it's now 3 die 4. Or if a DM wants to go say different route, they're 2d6. The damage outcome is still a 4-point difference in damage. But right there, you're hitting harder. So it's great for melee fights, because your melee weapons do more damage. You get that +2 to strength. But what a lot of players immediately thinks it does is a bigger strength bonus and a con bonus. It doesn't increase your con. It states it right there in the spell. It does not increase your con. And there's a lot of people who go, well, I have this, so I have a +4 here and a +4 here. It's like, not what the spell does. Because they like combining bull strength with bear's endurance, and voila, there's a large person when it's not. So it's definitely one of those, read your spell. Read your damn spell. Goose, please stop trying to crawl on my lap. I love you, but stop. Get a dog, they said, right? You need to stop. No, but it's still a good spell, a reliable spell. It's just people keep messing it up. Another big thing about being increased size is you get to your weight allowance for weight for the duration of the spell, obviously, is ×2. So if you normally have like a carry weight of like 100 pounds for a light load, now your large size, wow, now it's 200. So it can help that, even though it lasts a minute per caster level, you can still manipulate and move heavy things a wee bit easier because you have a better weight allowance. But but moving on, there is a mass enlarged person. It is a... What are you doing, computer? Yeah, it's a level 4 spell, but it does all the same things as normal enlarged person, except you can affect one humanoid creature per level, no two of which can be more 30 feet apart. So you can, once you get access to 4th level wizard spells, you can look at the party and go, hey, we're now all enlarged. Better strength boost, reach of 10, so the party gets to have a little bit more fun. I wouldn't really suggest casting it on the support, like mages or wizard, well, any of your mages or wizards, unless you're afraid they're going to get stuck in melee combat. But still, you can hit multiple of your tanks with it, and now they have reach and do better melee damage, making it a even better spell. But if you guys have any questions about enlarged person or mass enlarged person, please leave a comment. The next spell is a spell that no matter how many times I keep reminding people of how it works, they still forget and then use it in the environments that the spell doesn't work in. And the spell is Entangle. I might be staring at a few people in my chat section because they keep forgetting this. This is a transmutation, 1st level druid, plant domain, and ranger spell. Components are verbal, semantic, divine focus. Cast time, 1 standard action. Range, long, so you can definitely toss it at a huge distance. Area, plants in a 40-foot radius spread. Duration, a minute per caster level, so it has a nice shelf life. Saving throw, reflex for partial, see text. Spell resistance, no. Description. Grass, weeds, bushes, and even trees wrap, twist, and entwine around creatures in the area or those that enter the area, holding them fast and causing them to become entangled. The creatures can break free and move at half its normal speed by using a full round action to make a DC 20 strength check or a DC 20 escape artist check. A creature that succeeds on a reflex saving throw is not entangled but can still move at half its normal speed through the area. Each round on your turn, the plants once again attempt to entangle all creatures that have avoided or escape entanglement. Note, the DM may alter the effect of this spell somewhat based on the nature of the entangling plants, pretty much emphasizing if the plants in the area are poison ivy. Well, now the creatures in the affected zone have to make saving throws against poison ivy because it's poison ivy. Go look up what it does. It's not very fun. I will also note this does not this spell does not cause plant creatures to start trying to entangle things because plant creatures are here. This only affects actual normal plants. This spell is a good spell. It's long range, high affected area. It's a spread, so there's no it's hiding behind his. No, it's a spread. It spreads everywhere it can with inside that radius. But the problem is, if there is no plants in the affected area, or the plants in the area has distance between them. For instance, if there's 4 cactuses, you affect all 4 cactus. But there's somewhere between 10 to 20 feet between each individual cactus. Well, does not cause the cactus to grow in radius. It just means if the person enters the proximity, aka the space of the cactus now will try to attempt to entangle them. So if the environment is lacking, you can't do it. Also, it does not work on dead plants. So if there's a place with a bunch of shriveled up dried plants because someone managed to kill them with a spell, or the trees have been scorched to death with fireballs and or burning hands, it's not going to work because it doesn't affect dead plants. If you're in a dungeon, well, unless the DM specifically states that there is weird plants growing in the dungeon, it doesn't affect those. I have run across some DMs that are extremely precise, as in if it's not a type of grass, a weed, a bush, or even a tree. Yeah, if it's not one of those, it doesn't work on it, which means cactus, it doesn't work on. Vines, it doesn't work on. Because they're going besides 2, it mentions the 4 things it works on. That isn't one of those 4 things, so even though if it's a plant, it works. It just has to be an actual plant. Not a plant creature, not a dead plant, not a fake plant, not an illusionary plant. Goose, please stop. You just need to lay down. My dog is being difficult. I love you. Please stop. You're going to hurt both of us. You're a pain in my butt. You are a pain in my butt. You can wait. No. But like I said, it's still a good, reliable first level spell. And it's a spell that doesn't get worse with caster level. It gets better with caster level because, again, the duration increases with each level, which is 1 minute, so 10 rounds of caster level. The range you can throw it at means you can throw it at a range to slow down or pretty much stop creatures trying to escape, or you can hit it in a way to stop creatures from being able to pursue you because they have to either go through a 40-foot radius area, which is a diameter of 80 feet. So they have to go through it or around it, giving you more time to get through. If they go through it, they're reduced. At minimum, their speed is reduced. At maximum, they're stuck. So it's a very great escape spell. even though it's not widely used in it. And because it does state trees, trees within the affected radius of the spell, or at least the parts that are in the affected radius spell, will attempt to hinder creatures moving. So flying creatures through a forest can still get interrupted by the spell, because the spell is affecting X amount of those trees. But it's still a decent spell to have. It's one of the reasons why certain entities get it as a spell-like ability. It's because it's a good spell. There's really... Yeah, if used appropriately, it has wonders. Especially because technically, when they're entangled, you can then have the mage go, Fireball! And yeah, you're destroying technically nature because you're lighting the plants and shit on fire, so you might upset the party druid. But you can technically go, I'm denying you a reflex saving throw, Fireball! Or Burning Hands, or any other spell that does it. But if any of you fine gentlemen and ladies have any questions about Entangle, please leave a comment. Goose, please stop. No, no. My dog is now trying to get properly on my lap instead of where he's at. Step. Ow. Ow. The next spell it's a spell that's actually not used as much as people say they use it, mainly because it just isn't. And it's Enthrall. This is an enchantment, charm, language-dependent, mind-affecting sonic spell. It is a level 2 bard and cleric spell. Components are verbal and semantic. Casting time 1 round. Range medium. Targets any number of creatures. Yeah, any number. Duration 1 hour or less. Saving throw will negate. See text. Spell resistance, yes. Description. If you have the attention of a group of creatures, you can use this spell to hold them spellbound. To cast this spell, you must speak or sing without interruption for a full round. Thereafter, those affected give you their undivided attention, ignoring their surroundings. If they're considered to have an attitude of friendly they are friendly while under the effects of the spell. Any potential affected creature of a race or religion unfriendly to you gets a +4 bonus on saving throws. A creature with 4 or more hit die or a wisdom score of 16 or higher remains aware of its surroundings and has an attitude of indifferent. It gains a new saving throw if it witnesses acts that it opposes. The effect lasts as long as you speak or sing to a maximum of 1 hour. Those enthralled by your words, take no action while you speak or sing, and for 3 rounds. Thereafter, while they discuss the topic or performance, those entering the area during the performance must also make a successful saving throw or become enthralled. The speech ends. Enthralled. Yeah, the speech ends, but the D3 rounds delay still applies. If you lose concentration or do anything other than speak or sing. So pretty much whatever you're doing to keep their attention, keep doing it. If those not enthralled have unfriendly or hostile attitude towards you, they can collectively collectively make a charisma check to try to end the spell by jarring and heckling for this check using a charisma bonus of the creature with its highest charisma in the group. Others might make charisma checks to assist. The heckling ends the spell if a check result beats your charisma check result. Only one such challenge is allowed per use of this spell. If any member of an audience is attacked or subject to some other overly hostile act, the spell ends and the previously enthralled members become immediately unfriendly towards you. Each creature with with 4 or more hit dice or a wisdom score of 13 or higher become hostile. So that's a lot with a spell. Goose, please stop. So the spell is pretty nifty. You can affect any number of creatures with it. And a lot of people that I've seen use this spell use it and then go, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I just stare at them and go, are you sure about that? Because it's like, well, they're only going to be thawed for this amount of time. But it said an hour. It said an hour or less. Read the freaking spell. You have to, for that entire hour, keep either talking and or saying. Well, technically it's talking or saying to keep the spell going, which means that's all you're doing. If you do anything else, you're ending the spell. So by going enthralled, yay, I walk off. You have 1 to 3 rounds before the spell ends, and you now have to go back to dealing with this problem. They also, for some reason, keep forgetting that deaf things can't hear. So therefore, they're not affected because they can't hear it. Because this is also a language-dependent, mind-affecting sonic effect. So right there, they can go, so deaf people don't know what the hell you're doing. It's also language dependent, which means if a creature cannot understand the words coming out of your mouth, the spell won't work on them. So, for instance, you run across a group of orcs that only speak orc. If you're not speaking orc, they're not going to know what you're talking about or what you're doing. They're just going to go, okay, smack. Because, again, they don't understand you. So you'd have to do it in orc. And there is no switching languages meant to affect different groups of people there, because when you're cast a spell to throw it, you're using that one language, and you're affecting the group affected by it. Switching languages means you're not you're ending the effect for those creatures initially affected in attempts to try to affect new creatures. So it doesn't work. And again, there's a lot of people that forget that if a spell says dependent on this, it's dependent on that there. I've also seen someone go, I'm going to enthrall them, and another party just look at them like they're stupid and go, we're fighting skeletons. They're like, and? It's like, and? It's like, yeah, they're immune to mind-affecting effects. Why are you trying to use a mind-affecting effect on undead? So people just ignore the spell. So when I say it's rarely used, I mean it's rarely used. When I say it's people mess up the spell simply, they mess up the spell simply because they're just not paying attention. For instance, if you don't know Elven and you're trying to enthrall elves that only speak Elf, you're not going to work. It also means you can't use it on animals because it's language dependent. They're going to look at you funny. But if you have any questions about Enthrall, please leave a comment. The next spell is a spell that I don't remember last time it was used. Anthropic Shield. This is an aberration, first level cleric, first level luck domain. Components are verbal and semantic. Casting time, standard action, range, personal, target, you, duration 1 minute per level. Description. A magical field appears around you, glowing with a chaotic blast of multicolored hues. This field deflects incoming arrows, rays, and other ranged attacks. Each ranged attack directed at you, for which the attacker must make an attack roll, including arrows, magical arrows, Mel's acid arrow, rave, fablement, and so forth, has a 20% mischance, similar to the effects of concealment. Other attacks that simply work at a distance, such as Dragon's Breath, are not affected, primarily because that's an AoE effect, not a target effect. So Anthropic Shield is a decent spell. I don't remember last time it was used. But gaining a 20% mischance against range attacks is always great. But you have to remember, it specifically says any attack, or each range attack directed at you for which the attacker must make a attack roll. So any ranged thing that does not require an attack roll, such as Magic Missile, does not require attack roll. Burning Hands, it's a range of can count as a ranged attack, but it's an AoE attack, so therefore no rolls. So anything that simply just goes, oh, I'm hitting you, no. So it's still a good spell because a 20% mischance is better than a no percent mischance. But if you guys have any questions about Anthropic Shield, please leave a comment. Goose, stop. The next spell is a spell that I've witnessed ruin friendships. Erase. This is a very funny spell. This is a transmutation, first level bard, sorcerer, and wizard spell. Components are verbal, semantic, casting time, standard action, range, close. Target, 1 scroll or 2 pages. Duration, instantaneous, saving throw, see text, spell resistance, no. Description. Erase removes writing of either magical or mundane nature from a scroll or from 1 to 2 pages of paper, parchment, or similar surface. With this spell, you can remove explosive rooms, glyph of warding, a sepate snake sigil, or an arcane mark, but not illusionary script or a symbol spell, because those are particular. Non-magical writing is automatically erased if you touch it and no one else is holding it. Otherwise, the chance of erasing non-magical writing is 90%. So if you want it to be 100%, you have to be holding it. If you want to risk a 10% chance of failure, hit it from range. Magical writing must be touched to be erased, so a wizard spellbook. And you also must succeed on a caster level check, DC 20 plus caster level, against a DC 15. A natural 1 or 2 is always a failure on this specific check. If you fail to erase explosive runes, a glyph of warding, or a simple snake sigil, you accidentally activate that writing instead. Now, the reason I state that this spell has cost people friendships is wizards. They love their spellbooks. They can't really do anything without their spellbook. You remove their spellbook, there goes all their spells, because they need the spellbook. It's one of the reasons why people don't pick wizards. They go sorcerers, because, well, they don't want to carry around a book, because they're too cool for school. You get up, Goose. If you're not going to sit there and actually sit there, you need to get up. Get up. Up. Move your butt. Get up. Pain in my butt. Goose, over here. No, over here. No, or get back right there. Move your butt. Move your... Oh, that's why I said move. You're going to hurt your leg. You pain in the butt. I'm having a very dog moment right now. You just need to stop. 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 I have a dog problem. Because I have a dog problem, I'm going to take a quick break. Sorry about that. Had to move him to a better spot. Dogs. But like I was saying, the friendship's ruined by the spell erase. There's again, wizards need their spell books. The amount of times where bards or sorcerers have literally gone, I'm gonna cripple the wizard, and they'll just do everything they can to either get a hold of the spell book or at least be able to visually see it, and then hit it. Now, the reason why that's important is because it erases 1 to 2 pages of the magical writing within the book. So, depending on the spell level that the spell that gets affected by it, he could lose entire spells that he has to now go re-put in a book, because the number of pages a spell takes up in a spell book is 1 page per level of the spell. So, level 1 spell takes up 1 whole page. A level 2 is 2 pages. 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. So, depending on what happens, he could lose access to a single spell, or lose access to 2 other spells. And since he has to prep his spells, he's going to look through his book and then go, why are 2 pages erased? Now, the problem I've seen people do is they go, with sorcerers going, I can cast 4 first level spells. Well, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to look at the wizard spell book. I'm going to get some distance away so he doesn't really notice me casting the spell. And I'm going to use up my 4 castings and erase 8 pages out of his book. Crippling the wizard, because that's 8 spells. That's up to 8 spells he no longer gets access to. So when I say it literally has had people walk up and leave and then never play with those people again, it's happened. I've witnessed people use it to erase writings on maps. Use it to erase important messages or information the party has gotten in written format. Because they wanted to be funny, they wanted to be goofy. And it's like, well, the party did have the instructions needed to do all this, but because someone erased it all, you guys don't know where to go, you don't know what to do. The note that had on the pertinent information on who's who is gone. Because someone decided erase was worth using. Someone decided that hindering the party is something worth doing. So, giant pain in the butt. And I got a important message. And my phone is being silly. Important messages are important. Yeah. So it is still a good spell, a decent spell. It can be used to get rid of some magical traps and stuff. But I've seen it more used to piss other people off, aggravate other people, and ruin entire things because someone thought it would be funny if what they needed was erased. So it has good uses, but never used by the good person. It's definitely one of those, if used by the good guy, it works, but if used by the bad guy, it makes everyone cry. But if you guys have any questions about erase, please leave a comment. The next spell is a spell I do like, but it's also a spell people have demanded that I, as a DM, just lower the level for it by more than one, so that way they get easier access to it. But when I go into the description, you'll learn why that it needs to be this level. It's Ethereal Jolt. This is a transmutation, 7th level cleric, sorcerer, and wizard spell. Components are verbal semantic. Cast time, standard action, range, personal, target you, duration, 1 round per level. So it doesn't have a very long shelf life, and it only affects you. Description: you become ethereal along with all your equipment for the duration of this spell. You are in a place called it's called the ethereal plane, which overlaps with the normal physical material plane. When the spell expires, you return to the material existence. An ethereal creature is invisible, insubstantial, and capable of moving in any direction, even up and down. Abide at half normal speed. It's a insubstantial. It's words. Creature, you can move through solid objects, including living creatures. An ethereal creature can see and hear on the material plane, but everything looks gray and ephemeral. Sight and hearing onto the material plane is limited to 60 feet. Force effects such as magic missile and wall of force, and abjuration effects on ethereal creature normally. Their effects extend onto the ethereal plane from the material plane, but not vice versa. An ethereal creature can't attack a material creature, and spells you cast while on the ethereal plane only affect ethereal things. Certain material creatures or objects have attacks or effects that work on the ethereal plane, such as a basilisk's gaze attack. Treat other ethereal creatures and ethereal objects as if they were material. If you end the spell and become material while inside a material object, such as a solid wall, you are shunned off to the nearest open space and take a die 6 points of damage per 5 feet that you travel. So this is a very good spell for pretty much getting through things, because you are not physically there, unless something specifically states that it does. You can't be hit by things unless it's something that affects its substantial creatures, such as a ghost touch weapon or a force effect, like it says, like magic missile or wall of force. You are also invisible while the effect lasts. So it's like, yay. But on like normal invisible, what technically doing attack actions doesn't break it because you're invisible as long as the spell works. So you practically might as well not be there. So unless something has the ability to see through invisibility and some sort of force effect that can affect ethereal, you get free reign. You can escape from a dungeon, walk into someone's secured vault. You can do lots of really neat things with it because you're technically not physically there. So it's a great escape spell and or a great I'm going to sneak in spell. The only real problem I can see with it is it's a short-lived spell, 1 round per level. But it's a 7th level spell, so you're going to be like level 14 when you cast it, so you have a good time about moving about. The whole personal, you're the target thing makes sense because it's a spell that's only supposed to take you and your belongings. But when I say there's a lot of people that read the spell and they want it to be lowered so they can get it earlier. And not just by, oh, let's just make it a 6th level spell. Yay. No, they want it to be a 3rd or 2nd level spell. So they literally want it to drop. Boom. Even though it doesn't last very long. And the lower your level is, the shorter the duration. So there really is no way to actually make more sense by having it be a lower level. So keeping it as a 7th level spell works because it has that short time span on it. But needless to say, if you get access to Ethereal Jolt through any means, be it a cleric, a sorcerer, or a wizard, yay, you can have fun. If you get it through an item, that works too. If you're one of the few races that gets it, there's that. So there's multiple ways that do it. So it's still a very potent spell. So you can have fun with it. That being said, if there's any questions about Ethereal Jolt, please leave a comment. Ooh. The next spell works on the general same premise as the last one, but better. This is Etherealness. It is a transmutation, 9th level cleric, sorcerer, and wizard spell. Range, touch, see text. Targets you and 1 other creature touch per 3 caster levels. Duration, a minute per level. Spell resistance, yes. Description. This spell functions like Ethereal Jolt, except that you and other willing creatures, joined by linked hands along with their equipment, become ethereal besides yourself. You can bring 1 creature per 3 caster levels to the ethereal plane. Once ethereal, the subjects need not stay together. When the spell expires, all affected creatures on the ethereal plane return to the material plane. So, right there, it's a really good spell. And just like Ethereal Jolt, people have demanded that I lower the level so that way they get access to it quicker. It's like, no. The spell affects multiple creatures, and it has a 10 times the length of duration. So no, not lowering it. But it functions just like it. So instead of I have a get out of jail free card, it's the party has a get out of jail free card. And because it lasts a minute per caster level and it's a 9th level spell, you're going to be at least 18 levels. So you got 18 minutes. Goes up. Yes, I know you went and bugged Mom, but stay. But need to say, it's still a very potent, powerful spell because, again, everyone gets to have fun with it, not just you. That being said, if anyone has any questions about etherealness, please leave a comment. The next spell. I have to say no to using this spell more than once because people cross a line with it, and it's Evert's Black Tentacles. If you can't guess why just off the name, why I look at people and go, no, then don't think too hard about it, but it probably means you're a bit of a pure soul, or I need to actually go through the spell for you to understand why I just verbally have to pimp slap people. This is a conjuration creation, 4th level wizard sorcerer spell. Components are verbal semantic material. Casting time, 1 action. Range, medium. Area, 20-foot spread. Duration, 1 round a level. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, none. Yes, Pixie, I see you. I see that. You probably get why I say no to this spell. Description is, this spell conjures a field of rubbery black tentacles, each 10 feet long. These waving members seem to spring forth from the earth. Floor or whatever surface is underfoot, including water. They grasp and entwine around creatures that enter the area, holding them fast and crushing them with great strength. Every creature within the area of the spell must make a grapple check, opposed by a grapple check of the tentacles. Treat the tentacles attacking a particular target as a large creature with a base attack bonus equal to your caster level and a strength score of 19. Thus, a grapple check modifier is equal to your caster level plus 8. The tentacles are thus a grapple check modifier that's equal to your caster level. Yeah, plus 8. 4 from the strength and 4 from being large. The tentacles are immune to all types of damage. Once the tentacles grapple an opponent, they may make a grapple check each round on their turn to deal a dice 6 plus 4 points of bludgeoning damage to the tentacle. Bludgeoning damage. The tentacles continue to crush the opponent until the spell ends or the opponent escapes. Any creature that enters the area of the spell is immediately attacked by the tentacles. Even creatures who aren't grappling with the tentacles may move through the area at only half normal speed. Material component: a piece of tentacle from a giant octopus or a giant squid. Now, if you can't guess why I have to look at people and say no, then thank you for being a good person. But needless to say, this is a great combat spell, because you can count it as a form of aerial denial, while also being able to look at an entire group of bad guys and go, get 'em, noobs. Black tentacles. Yes, Pixie, I know you're not a bad person. I know you're not a good person, because I said the name and you immediately got why I say no to people for using this spell. Thank you for being a good example of what not to do. But yeah, even there, it's um, naughty Pixie. But like I said, even with that said, it's still a good combat spell. You can do damage with it. You can hinder opponents with it. It's a cast and forget for at least that. No, you didn't. But you got the memo of the spell, anyways. Because I saw those crying, laughing faces. Don't worry, I'll get paid back for you later. I'm not saying that out loud. I'm not saying that out loud. My brain just went bad. No, but this spell is still good. Good. And the only problem is it's any creature, including yourself. Anything that enters the space is subject to the tentacles. Everything's ominous when you put a giggle on it. No. But I said if used correctly, it's just still a enjoy that bad guys. So it's still a really, really good spell. But if anyone has any questions about Evert's Black Tentacles, please leave a comment. But we are going to cover one more spell. This spell has been it has been used quite a bit in my 30 years of playing. But at the same time, it's made me want to slap people because they either forget that it's affecting them. They try to argue that they can put it on anyone else they want, even though it doesn't say that. And they just find ways to make you go, no. This is Expeditious Retreat. It's a transmutation. It is a first level bard, sorcerer, wizard. Components are verbal, semantic. Casting time 1 action. Range personal. Target you. Duration 1 minute per level. So when I say they tried to cast it on other people, it's like it's a personal spell. It only affects you. It doesn't affect anyone around you. It only affects you. Boom. And again, it's 1 minute per caster level. So it starts off at level 1, lasting for 10 whole rounds. So that's still pretty good. Description. This spell increases your base land speed by 30 feet. This adjustment is treated as an enhancement bonus. There is no effect on other modes of movement such as burrow, climb, fly, or swim, as with any effect that increases your speed. This spell affects your jumping distance, which we have to go over this, the jump skill itself. You want it back there. Now sit correctly, dog. My dog's being himself again. This spell need not be used as part of a retreat. The name of the spell merely hints as the typical wizard's attitude towards combat. This spell was part of some of this lore, was created to help get like wizards and sorcerers out of combat, away from the enemy at a fire speed. And when I said when people try to use it in ways that makes you just say no, it says it only affects land speed. It even states that it does not affect burrow, climb, fly, or swim. And with any effect that increases your spell, it does make you jump better. But the big thing is, it doesn't matter if you have a climb speed. It doesn't affect climb speed. It doesn't matter if you can fly. It doesn't make you fly faster. Same if you have good swimming or a good burrow. It doesn't help those. It's only land speed. So this spell a lot of times starts off with the whole, don't worry guys, we can all fly and do stuff more. It's like, no, it doesn't. There's been people who have literally gone, well, because of the spell, I have a fly speed now. Because it's like, no. That goes from that goes from, yay, you read your spell to, yay, you're ignoring keywords and assuming it does more than what it does. Because if you get a spell that grants you movement speeds that aren't there before, those are generally going to have their own built-in restrictions and or a lot higher level. So the spell does not give you 30 speed in all categories of movement. Yes, I've had to have those arguments with people and had to have them read out loud the entire section for the description when it says it has no effect on other modes modes of movement. Because people are dumb. I'll say that 1,000,001 times. They will do dumb things. But I still do really love this spell, because if you cast it on yourself, you can really not necessarily care about approaching enemies, because you can keep that distance. Or you can get to where you need to be a lot sooner to hit those spells. But yeah, it's still a really, really good spell. That being said, if anyone has any questions about Expeditious Retreat, please leave a comment. But that would be it for spells. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for those comments. Made me a little bit happy. I will see you guys next week for another episode of Out of Stage DMing. Remember, if you want to join the family, there will be a link in the description, so you can join the Out of State DMing family. And as another reminder, we are getting closer to episode 100. So if you want to get in on that episode, please join. But that would be it for today. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.